It's Valley Focus, and I'm Kayla Mortellaro, your guide for the program as we turn our attention here to Teresa Hodge, founder of Mission Launch. Teresa, appreciate your time on the program today.
Thank you. So happy to be here with you.
Looking forward to the conversation. Mission Launch. So what exactly was the journey that you went through, or what have you seen or experienced in your life that led you down a path of thinking something needed to be done and you went ahead and did so by creating Mission Launch?
Yeah, well, for me, it was an unexpected journey of coming in contact with our criminal legal system. I served a 70-month federal prison sentence, and it was during that time of incarceration that I began to learn a lot about prison, people who go to prison, all the pathways that lead people to prison, and quite frankly, all the pathways that people need to come home and reconnect to society. After coming home from prison about a year and a half later, I started Mission Launch with my daughter, and the whole focus was, could we somehow use innovation, technology, to make reentry, coming home, and reconnecting back to opportunity more efficient.
So with all of that in mind, what is Mission Launch?
We are a nonprofit. We are based in the Maryland area, and our nonprofit serves as a convener. We bring a lot of the various stakeholders together who are all working hard to make sure that when a person comes home from prison, that they're able to get back on their feet. But in many cases, that means things like connect to a job, connect to sustainable housing, higher educational opportunities, open bank accounts, just a lot of things that most of us take for granted. But the fact that you have a criminal record, it's just hard to come home and to connect to opportunities. And so what we do, we bring all of the stakeholders in one room. We get everyone talking about their solutions, what's missing, and how we can make that process more efficient so we can have greater success for our fellow citizens that are coming home.
What are some of the statistics in real world applications that show the direct correlation between lack of employment and recidivism?
Yeah, well, one, the statistics are, let me just say this. 9 out of 10 employers run a criminal background report. And for many people who are running criminal background reports, they don't know how to interpret them. When they look at a criminal report, they're binary. They say, yes, a person has a record, or no, they don't. And most folks in HR, they don't know how to deal with this criminal investigation tool, and they don't know how to measure risk. At that point, it's just easier to say no. It's the reason why for a lot of people when they come home from prison, I think it's about 70% of the people who come home from prison find themselves unemployed or underemployed a year later. And for a lot of people, we have stories of people who have said they applied for over 100 jobs and received 100 no's for jobs that were in many cases entry level and they were qualified for. And what we know is if you can't work and take care of yourself, then how is a person supposed to live and survive outside of, family members taking care of you? And for most of us, our families are not going to take care of us that long.
Teresa Hodge, founder of Mission Launch right here on Valley Focus. So how does Mission Launch work? Where does the process start? And then how long does the process continue after someone does leave incarceration?
Yeah. So for us, the way our process works, we go into community. In the Maryland area, we've hosted hackathons. Hackathons is our methodology for bringing a lot of the various stakeholders. We bring often probation officers, correction officers to the table, as well as people with the lived experience of incarceration and a lot of the service providers. We host conversations, we come up with solutions, and each local community come up with the right solution that they need. We just finished a hackathon in Arizona, and one of the big initiatives there was the entire ecosystem that support individuals who have arrest or conviction records came together, and what they're interested in doing is organizing themselves and then going on the prison tablets that are in the state of Arizona so that when men and women are in prison today, they can begin to look at the resources that they need and start making those connections. so that they have a greater success of returning home and staying home on day one.
You mentioned the hackathons that you're having, and you just concluded one here in Arizona. So what were some of your takeaways from that experience?
It was a really good event, and we've been doing hackathons now for over 9 years, and we all walked away thinking this was our best hackathon yet. And I think what made the difference was we were able to bring in the prison tablet provider, Securus, who have basically every Arizonian who's in prison today, almost 36,000 who are connected to Department of Correction, are using their tablets. And so we were able to bring in the prison tablet provider as well as the service providers. And then we had some people who had come home from prison recently who had used their tablets. And they talked about how the tablets made a huge difference in their lives. We had those individuals talking directly to the company about some improvements and insights that would have helped to make their journey a little bit easier when they came home. But even more importantly, we had all of those service providers listening and figuring out how they could become providers on this tablet.
Can you take it a step further and explain, what these tablets are, the functionality of them and how they are so resourceful for people that are in prison and then as they transition out?
Yeah. So when you think of these tablets, the best way to think about it is kind of a iPad-ish-like tablet with a lot less features. And it's more of an intranet because it's a closed environment. People who are in prison are not surfing the World Wide Web. They have a controlled environment. And what's on the tablet today is betterment content to help them with their mental health, content that allows them to communicate with the prison staff more efficiently. They have email functionality so that they can stay connected to their friends, their family, their loved ones, their support system. There's information about job readiness. One of the providers that's on there is a application called Honest Jobs. So in a sense, think of Indeed for folks with records. And what Honest Jobs does, it shows the individuals who are incarcerated potential jobs that they might qualify for in their local area. So in one sense, these tablets are giving, individuals a window into the world that they're going to return to and starting to show them what are some of the opportunities they potentially could connect to.
Teresa Hodge, founder of Mission Launch right here on Valley Focus. Now, what is this initiative, Bank on 100 Million, and what sort of technology is the key to the solutions here for the formerly incarcerated?
Yeah, so Bank on 100 Million. Today, there are about 80 million Americans who have an arrest or conviction record. And by the year 2030, that will be 100 million Americans, 1 in 3 adults. What that means is 1 in 2 working age adults, half of the working adults are going to have an arrest or conviction record. This initiative was really just designed to bring major awareness to the fact that we have really incarcerated a lot of our citizens and that we have an opportunity to make sure that when people come home, they can connect to opportunities. So that is the banner of our hackathons. We do them under the Bank on 100 Million initiative, and it's about future ready now. It's how can we get ready for the future when 100 million individuals will have arrest or conviction records. What we believe is that these tablets are a game changer. These tablets will make a difference. But even more importantly, when you think of employers today who want to hire folks, they can't find people, this initiative is helping them to understand that there is an untapped talent force that's willing and ready to work. We just have to find ways to better understand them so that they can connect to the opportunities they need, connect to the jobs they need, so that they can be productive citizens.
We've been having a conversation about all the work here that Mission Launch is doing, the different partners that you're bringing together to try to help people in their reentry process. With everything that is going on, you say that 80 million people have had some sort of record. By 2035, it will be 100 million. So what do you believe are some of the key tenets to making meaningful change for justice-impacted individuals?
Yeah. So one, I think awareness is one part. You know, when we say 100 million Americans will have an arrest or conviction record by the year 2030, most people kind of look at us and scratch their head because our prison systems are out of sight and out of mind. So just allowing people to understand that this is a huge number of people and that we have to create pathways of opportunities. We're all safer as a country when we give every able-bodied person an opportunity to work and earn a living and a pathway to this American dream, which is if you work hard, I always say America is the land of second chance. A lot of people come here because they want a new beginning. And for our citizens who've made a mistake, who've gone to prison and they're dreaming a better dream, the opportunity to connect to a job, to connect to housing, to reconnect to their family and be productive again is super important, not only for them and their families, but it's important for all of us. It's a matter of public safety.
On the flip side of this here, what are some of the changes that you are proud that have happened and how have they made a difference?
Yeah. So for us, we're really excited about a couple of things. One is the partnership that we have with Ventive Technologies. Ventive is the #1 prison tablet provider in the country. And so the partnership to come into community with them, to introduce their technology and to make sure that more people understand the technology is here to connect, to keep family members connected and to help people come home and understand how to use technology to apply for jobs. That's something we're really super proud of. The other partnership that we were really excited was we had Department of Corrections come to the table and, in Arizona. And so the thought that you have the institution that's actually housing people at the table who are vested in the outcomes of individuals when they come home is really significant. We're super excited about that. And we have a coalition of individuals all across the country who are service providers, government officials, concerned citizens, directly impacted people, and corporations who are all interested in how do we make life better for individuals who have arrest or conviction records, and then also how do we employ this population? How do we attract this talent? So we're excited about the work that's happening. It's a lot of work. We're still rolling up our sleeves and looking for new partners, looking for more corporations that want to attract a ready, willing, and able workforce.
Along those lines here, Teresa, what is the next step or phase for Mission Launch?
So in 2024, we are going to host hackathons in 4 jurisdictions. We are solidifying what those locations are going to be. Texas is on our list, Washington State, but we have 2 other areas that we're interested in terms of where we're going to be, and we want to continue to do more of what we did in Arizona. We believe it's repeatable, and our goal is just to make sure that we are making reentry. Again, that's the time when a person leaves a prison or jail, just more efficient for someone so they come home and connect to the resources they need on day one.
And so what final message would you like to leave the community about Mission Launch and all the work that you're doing?
Well, one, we're always interested in anyone who's interested in this topic. They can come to our website at www.mission-launch.org. And then when you think of 80 million Americans today who have an arrest or conviction record, they are our neighbors. 95% of the people who are in prison will come home from prison. The opportunity we have is to ensure that when they come home, they're ready and that corrections have done their job, that they kept them away from society based upon the time that they were required to do so, but that we give our fellow citizens an opportunity to come home and reconnect.
And one final time on a great website for people to learn more about Mission Launch.
Yeah, so please come and visit us at www.mission-launch.org.